Hello everyone, I'm going to be showing you our first lesson in computer applications. Today we're going to be starting with a unit that's called spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are kind of a list, almost like a list that you can do so many things with, including mathematical functions. You can just keep track of things, and that's what we're going to start with. Is something real simple. We're going to just keep a list of things, and then we're going to expand on that. So people in business use spreadsheets quite often to keep track of their numbers, maybe tax information. Maybe they're trying to keep track of profits and losses that their business makes. And so they become very useful. So being able to use these, even for your own purposes, is great. Sometimes I use them to keep track of things that projects I'm working on my own, or maybe just trying to keep track of things that you might own. Let's say you have a collection of something. So I'm going to show you very basically how a spreadsheet works and how to access it. So when you create your own spreadsheet, we're going to be using Google Docs, and in Google Docs there is actually a program that is called Sheets. Another very popular one is called Excel, which is owned by Microsoft, and that one is very similar to this product. The difference is that this one is free and everyone has access to it, and you can easily share it with me when you turn your projects in. So here we go. I'm going to just go right up here. When you open up your Google account, you're going to find that there's a button right up here. It looks like a bunch of dots, a set of 9 dots. And you just click on that. You're going to go down here to where it says Sheets, and we're going to open up Sheets, and then just click on blank, and you'll open up a new one. Now I've already created one for you, so we're going to start with that one. So after you open up your new blank sheet, it'll look like this. The only difference is that yours up here, instead of saying lesson 1, yours is going to say untitled, and it's a good idea just to make sure you give it a name before you start doing too much with it. Spreadsheets are organized in kind of a grid fashion, and along from top to bottom, when you're going top to bottom, these are called columns, and rows are going from left to right. And all the rows are numbered. They all have a number from 1 until, who knows, you can have as many as you want. This one will probably go over 200 if I scroll down far enough. But we're not going to use that many rows. We're only use just like the first few rows up here, just to give you an example. So if you wanted to refer to a particular cell, you would use its column and then its number. So we would say this first one that's highlighted right now is cell A1. So you go to A, it's row number 1. This one would be B1 and C1 and so on. So if I went down here, this would be, for example, cell B4. So in the cell, the number of cells you can have is almost unlimited, but like I said, we're going to keep it simple and just use 2 columns and just a couple of rows today. So what we're going to do is, I try to keep this as current as possible with you. Now, I don't really know much about sneakers, but we're going to keep track of a collection of sneakers. Now, your project is you're going to find 5 items on your own that you can keep track of, and it doesn't have to be anything that you own. Maybe you want to collect Lamborghinis, or maybe you want to collect, who knows, stamps or coins, whatever it is. So I just need you to think of like 5 things that you could easily find the price on, either on Amazon or eBay or something like that. So 5 things that you can find a price on, and we're going to make a list of them. So the first step would be to maybe put the name of the item that you're going to have. Now, cells can contain either numbers or they can have text, words. They can also have something called formulas and functions, which we're going to get into. We're going to use one of those today, but for right now, think of just having either numbers or text. So in our first row, we're going to have this one right here is just going to say shoe. So whatever type of shoe that we're going to put in this column, there'll be some that are going to be filled in underneath here. So the shoe that goes here, and then over here will be the price or the cost of the shoe. So we'll put that in here. So we need to fill in some shoes here and some prices. So I've done that for you. So here's our shoe. So I went with Vans. I don't really know anything really about them, but like I said, I bet you do. You could probably tell more about shoes than I could. So here's the shoes that we have. So I found some online, and I just put these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it looks like it's spilling over into other cells because the description of each shoe is kind of long. So when you put something in a cell, the cells are adjustable. So we're going to take cell A here, all right, and we're going to make it wider. So once you click on the A here, you just move the mouse over until you get that little arrow pointing to the right. Hold down your mouse and just drag it over here so that it makes this cell as long as the longest title that you have right here. So that's our list of shoes. And over here, we're going to put the cost of the shoe. I think I might have said price or cost. We'll see in the next slide here what happens if I put price or cost there. So we have the price, and we're going to put all the prices in right here. So I did that in the next step. Value. Okay, so forget I said price. I put the word value. So the value of the shoes goes right here. Now, one thing you notice is that I put in 49.5. Well, by default, it doesn't know what you're going to be putting in this cell. Are you going to be putting in money? Are you going to be putting in scientific information? It doesn't really know. It just kind of leaves it as a number when you first start out. So once you find the cost of all these, or the value of all these items you're going to put in here, list them here, and then all you have to do is go up to column B and click on it, and it'll highlight all of column B. And then up here in this corner, there's some different symbols, and it says format as currency, which is what we're going to use, which means money. If you want them to be percentages, you could put them right here. And over here, there's a whole bunch of other ones, but we'll get into that later. So right now, we're just going to focus on money. So we're going to say format that as currency. So I'm going to say ding. So what it does is it changes all of them to dollar amounts. So it makes sense here. The value is going to be in dollars. Now this is all pretty nice. So now we know the name of the shoe, what its value is. Now let's say you'd like to find out how much did I spend altogether in all the shoes. Well, you can add them all up. Now you could get out a calculator and just add all these up here. And then here I'll put the word total cost or total value. All right. So the total value would go in this cell right here. And that's cell B7. So you could get out a calculator, add these all up, and type that number in, but you don't have to. There's something you can do that makes it a lot easier. You can just say, I want to sum up all these values, right, and put it right here. So I'm going to click in this cell where I want it to show up. Then over on the right side here, there's a button that says function. And I bet you can guess which one of these functions up here we're going to use. It's sum. All right. So when I hit sum, it's going to say equal sign, sum, and then there's a flashing cursor in there. So what you want to do is highlight the cells that you want to sum up and then let go. Hit the enter or return button on your keyboard, and it'll fill in that number will go right there. Now you have to kind of be careful, is because when you do this, I'm going to erase it. I'm going to do it one more time. Is if I go up here and I hit sum and I just start clicking around on different things, it's you have to make sure you only click on the cells that you want to show up in your sum. So let me delete that. I'll try it again. So hit this, sum, and then highlight these cells right here and hit enter or return on your keyboard, and there's your total value of all the shoes you have. So I'd like you to find 5 things that you would like to put in your spreadsheet. Put them all, list them right here, put in their value, and then I want you to total that value up right here. So when you get done, it's going to look something like this, just like actually pretty much how we just finished up the last one. And then we might take this a little bit further and do some other functions with these numbers as well. So it could be anything. It could be cars, it can be jewelry, whatever you're into, you can put in those things right here, and then I want you to total it up. Now, if you have any questions, you can always email me or get a hold of me, and I'll help you through this if you need it. But that's pretty much it. If you need to watch the video again, feel free to watch as many times as you like. And when we're done, I'll show you how to submit these on Schoology. All right, thanks. Make sure you get a hold of me if you need me. Hopefully you have my email address, but it's KemmyandB at dearbornschools.org.